Hello, lovers of history. Today we journey back 3,500 years to the very first battle ever written down in human history. A battle so decisive, so terrifying, that its name would echo through time and evolve into a word we still fear today. Armageddon. But the real story began long before myths. On a scorching morning in 1457 BC, when a young Egyptian pharaoh made a decision that could have ended his empire or saved it forever. This is the pharaoh's last stand, the Battle of Megiddo. At just 20 years old, Pharaoh Thutmose III faced the unthinkable. A massive coalition of rebellious Canaanite kings, led by the mighty ruler of Kadesh, had gathered at the fortress city of Megiddo, a city perched on a hill that controlled every trade route of the ancient world. If Egypt lost Megiddo, it would lose Syria, Canaan, and every kingdom beyond the empire would collapse. But instead of taking the safe, wide roads toward the city, Thutmose chose the impossible, a narrow mountain pass, barely wide enough for a single chariot. Where a single ambush could wipe out the entire Egyptian army, his generals begged him to reconsider. But the young pharaoh simply said, "I will not turn back." For hours, the Egyptian army squeezed through the savage, winding pass. No one could move fast. Chariots overturned, horses slipped, soldiers held their breath. If the enemy attacked, Egypt's future would end in that canyon, but the Canaanite coalition waited on the other road, expecting Egypt to avoid the dangerous pass. Thutmose had outsmarted them, and when the Egyptians finally emerged onto the plains of Megiddo, they caught the enemy completely off guard. The sun rose, dust filled the sky, and the first detailed battle in human history began. Egyptian chariots thundered across the field, their bronze armor flashing like fire. Canaanite warriors charged back with spears and shields of wood and leather. The ground trembled as thousands clashed in a storm of dust, blood, and bronze. Thutmose himself led the charge, the young Napoleon of Egypt standing atop his chariot, firing arrows with deadly precision. By noon, the Canaanite line broke. Their warriors ran, and the survivors fled behind Megiddo's towering walls. The siege lasted 7 long months. The rebels had locked themselves inside. But in their panic, they forgot to bring supplies one by one. Horses died, water ran out, people starved, and when the gates finally opened, Megiddo surrendered. It was over. Egypt had won, and history had been written, literally, carved into stone, on the walls of the great temple at Karnak. Millennia later, the Valley of Megiddo would be remembered as Har Megiddo, the Hill of Megiddo, a place where ancient armies clashed, a place forever tied to the idea of the final battle of the world, the birthplace of the word Armageddon. And it all began with one defiant young pharaoh who took the most dangerous road in the world and won.